maybe it's not that you need to do more, maybe you're actually doing too much. Changing your self-concept is a very much energetic process. It's very much based on your state of being, your nervous system state, the way you feel about yourself, the beliefs you have about yourself. And a lot of people will hammer in affirmations, they will do all these practices in order to transform the way they see themselves. And whilst practices can be really great, most of the time people are working on the wrong things. They are taking all these actions, they are forcing all these things instead of working on their energy. Because truly it's really, really simple. It is a shift in the way you feel. And what I often see in my clients and what I've experienced myself, and it's a lesson that I have to learn over and over again too, because we live in this society where we're so wired for doing, where we're just told to do more and become more and achieve more. And a lot of people even only want to change their self-concept because they want to get something, they want to receive something. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? We have desires for a reason. And I really, really encourage you to follow them. I encourage you not to let go of them, not to pretend that you don't want it or that you don't care that much. It's okay to care. It's okay to want something really, really badly and really, really deeply. But the consequence that this has is that if you're treating the work on your self-concept as a means to an end to get something, it becomes a project. It becomes something that you want to achieve, where you're almost like hiking up this mountain, but the summit feels like it's unreachable and you never really stop and enjoy the view. And the work on your self-concept is really so much more than the external results you get. They will come. When you truly shift your self-concept, they will come. I promise. I see it in my own life. I see it in my clients' lives all the time. There is a lag. It doesn't happen immediately, but it will come. But how you work on your self-concept matters. Because if you do it with that same energy of trying to get something or trying to get somewhere, the results that you're going to get won't fulfill you either. When you ask the people who have actually stepped into a completely new version of themselves, who have actually completely transformed the way they see themselves, the way they show up, who don't recognize themselves from who they were before, who have completely new beliefs, completely new a completely new sense of self-worth. And I see this in the women I work with all the time, because they come to me and they want to, embody deeper self-worth. They want to feel more confident. They want to become magnetic to the things that they want. They want to show up differently in their relationships. They want to break the patterns they keep experiencing in their lives, be that in their career, in their relationships, wherever it is. They very much come to me with this energy of like, how do I do this? And they can feel their potential inside of them. They can feel that there's more meant for them. They have these desires and they're not willing to settle for less, which is really, the prerequisite to make it happen. Like, you need that devotion, you need that commitment. But they have no idea how they can get there because they've tried all these things. And that's because they came from this energy of striving. And if you ask any of them, they will probably all tell you at some point I just shifted, right? Like, the way I teach self-concept work is very much integrated in your nervous system, in your being, in your subconscious, in your emotional body. It's a very much embodied process. And by embodied, I don't just mean, feeling into something or practicing something, but it is a long-term process and it really integrates into every cell of your being. And the result that you have from that is that you just turn around and you feel this complete shift. It's quite subtle, but it's a complete shift in your energy. And you turn around and you go like, oh, yeah, I am not this person anymore. And you usually see it in your reality. You see it in the way you show up around the people you interact with. You see it in the choices you make. You see it in new habits that you implement that you don't need to force yourself to implement. And the way a lot of people approach working on their self-concept is very much reactive. They see what is going wrong, or they see the beliefs that they don't want to have and they try to fix them. or that they try to fix themselves, or they take certain actions. Maybe they stalk someone on social media, or they react impulsively, or they flip out, or they contract, like whatever it is. They react to their own reactions. And that's a backwards way of doing it, because when you're changing your self-concept in an embodied way, first of all, it doesn't come with this energy of striving. And I'm not saying it's not work, right? It's definitely work. Like, this is not easy. This is not for the faint-hearted when you do it in an emotionally integrated way. It does require support. It requires patience. It requires trust. It requires groundedness. So it's not easy. You'll have to go through pretty challenging emotions. You'll have to deal with your past. It's not about bypassing that at all. But it's not about fixing anything. It's not reactive. You're not reacting not just to your circumstances, but to your way of being. You're not reacting to that. You are creating it. You are determining it. And it does require a dismantling of who you once were, or who you no longer want to be or associate or identify with. It's a better word. But it's really hard to explain because it's so experiential. It's very much a shift in energy, more so it's a shift in your state of being more so than it is something that you're doing differently. And think about who you want to be, right? If you want to be a different version of yourself, that version of yourself isn't going to sit there and say affirmations every day or feel the pressure to have a solid morning routine. Nothing wrong with doing any of these things, but if you feel pressure, if it feels like a chore, if your self-care even feels like a chore, then you're still doing all of this from the energy of striving, and that's not who you want to be. It is important to take action, but it's much more important to take the actions that will actually bring you further, right? You're not gonna throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. You take the actions that you know will actually catapult you into the self-concept that you're wishing to embody. You're not taking the actions in a frantic or panicky way or out of obligation, right? Because maybe it's not panicky or frantic for you, but maybe it's become a habit. Maybe it's become a rut. Something that I always like to say as well is, a lot of people try to change their self-concept, try to become a new version of themselves by using certain practices. Let's say you use affirmations. But what then actually happens is, instead of reprogramming themselves to believe the things that they want to believe through the affirmations, they reprogram themselves to become the person who says affirmations every day, or who even has to say affirmations every day in order to maintain the identity that they want to have. That's not sustainable. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. You're not going to be present with life. It creates a lot of pressure. So I guess my core message of this video, because this was completely channeled and rambled and, just came through whilst I was on my morning walk. Changing your self-concept is an energetic process. It's experiential. It's not a means to an end. And when you feel the shift in your being, you can't unfeel it. You cannot unfeel it. If any of my clients are watching this, I would actually love for you guys to comment and say and describe the way it feels, because it is something that is so felt and so subtle, yet so profound. And it's probably very different from what you imagine it to feel like, but so much better, because it's a rebirth. And it's a rebirth into who you've always wanted to become and who you were always meant to become. Because if you want to be a different version of yourself, if you want certain desires, it's because you're supposed to have them. Oh, and before I forget, if you want to learn more about my method for changing your self-concept, I have a free self-concept mastery blueprint linked in the description box below. And in the description, you can also check out my coaching program, Recreate Yourself, if you're like, I actually want to go all in and I want to do it now. If that's the action to take for you, you can do that too. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this resonated with you. Let me know what landed. Leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed yet, or this is your first time watching me, please subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video.